Feeling the need for change is at the heart of your ability to make it happen. I'm Vivian Carrasco, and I'd like to welcome you to Turning Inward. I am your creative midwife, your teacher, and host of this podcast. Together, we're going to navigate the interior life by unearthing your personal truth, insight, and your inner knowing. In 2 words, this is your inner work. Hello, lovelies. It is so wonderful to be back with you again. I feel like I've taken an extended vacation, or I've been asleep for a little while. Not sure why that's coming out, but I was waiting, sort of just patiently sitting back, chilling out, waiting for something that was worthy of pushing record, picking up the mic, working through the jitters that still, for the life of me, are there when I pick it up. And I've actually dreamed this twice. And so when I dreamed it last night, I thought, this is it. This is what I'm supposed to talk about. And it hasn't quite gelled. So just asking you to give me permission to talk it out, which is kind of what I do. And hoping that what came to me in a dream and that I believe is, these inspirations are my conscious, the greater me, the Holy Spirit. It is in my mind, my heart, the core of my belief, really divinity running through me. Because I have nothing to do with it, really. I mean, there's brain stuff, anyway, whatever. So the thing that came up a couple of nights ago in a dream was twins. And I was like, what is this? I don't understand. I'm just sort of like tired metaphorically. And so I just chilled out and waited for it to come back. And when it came back last night, this morning, I understood it really clearly. Like there was no searching. There was no fog. What it was saying to me is that 2 things can be true at the same time. And I've talked about this in the past as sort of we go through life sometimes seeing that it is either or. It is yes or no. You're making a choice between A or B. And we're not really leaving room for the both and. The, C option. The option that can be both A and B. And the way that it's working itself through my life. And one of the things I promised you, and I promised myself, is that I would share more. And it really has bared. It's really given fruit. And a lot of richness to the conversations that are happening here, because what I'm going through, because I'm human, everybody goes through at some level. We don't ever get rid of these things. We just, you level up. There's that same issue that you had is just taken a layer off, and there it is. And that's kind of fascinating. But the way that it's been working itself through my life is this idea that on one hand, I deserve what I have, and 2, that I should have even more. And I've talked about this in previous episodes. So I recently went to a conference this weekend, and it was called Infinitely Receiving. And Maru, if you ever listen to this, you are an absolute goddess on stage. One of the things that as humans, we project, and what I saw in you is this just, in addition to the authenticity, it was also kind of the same struggles that I'm feeling and dealing with. And it is that, can I be all of me, and will it be okay? And one of the things that I struggle with most is using anything that is religious, because I don't want to cause strife. But one of the revelations that happened to me from this weekend was, I'm not here to convince you of anything. I'm not here to convert you from one belief to another, but I do fundamentally believe that God is love. And my method and my teachings revolve around kindness and love and taking inspired action. So if that doesn't jive with you, you're probably not here. So I don't have to worry about pissing you off because you're already checked out. That was super cool for me. So that was one of them. And the other one was, after what came out of this weekend is this, not an intention, but just this awareness to notice, to witness, to look at parts of me that are ready to open and receive more. And it's a struggle for me because I feel like I have enough already for a long time. I have more than I deserve, but everyone deserves, which is, I think that's a lie now. Everyone deserves their optimal potential. So it's not about deserving more or less. It's about allowing more to come in. So anyway, back to my mantra. So now my mantra is now. So the two sides of this coin, the two things that can be true at once are now. Thank you. Thank you. So there's gratitude. There's total and complete gratitude for absolutely everything that I have in my life. Then that sort of is bridged over into yes, this and more. Did you see how I kind of gulped right there? Yeah, I'm working through it. I'm just on the edge of this. This and more, please. And I'll give you a really practical, real example of that. When David and I have been married 25 years. And when we dream and scheme all the time. And it's interesting, when we're super young, early 20s, probably even younger than that, to be honest. We were being crazy and wild one day, and we're like, if you could dream of anything, absolutely anything, what would it be? And I don't remember what my dream was, but I remember David's dream because he was newly enlisted in the Army. I think he was a PFC, and he was in petroleum. He was logistics, 77 Foxtrot. And he said, I imagine this life this way, and what would you be doing? Well, my dream job is, at that time we were considering going back to our hometown, or near our hometown, to Odessa. He said I would be refueling airplanes at the airport. And that was the biggest dream at the moment. So, you don't know a lot about David's story, but he has done more than that. And I share that example with you to say that no matter how big you can dream, the potential for what you can actually do is even bigger than that. So don't worry about having a dream that's too big, because it will and can be more. But you have to be open to having that. That's where I'm trying to get myself, is opening myself to receive more than I already have, because it's just a struggle for me. So I wrote down another example. Oh, this house. I love my house now. It took me a couple of years to get used to it. In the military, your house was assigned to you. So, no issues around housing there. Everybody had, well, not everybody, but we had this, what are those things that are, those bricks? Forgot what they're called, but they're so special. You really can't hang stuff on it. It's just the paint looks crappy, but you're in housing. I think we've been in this house about 4 years, and I'm just now, literally in the last couple of months, really getting comfortable with this space, because it's huge, and the ceilings are tall and big. It's beautiful, and I didn't come from that. That's not what I'm used to. And for a long time, I really fought David on it. I was like, can't we have this tiny little cottage in this way out space and all this and all that? And I really made it difficult. It was a total pain in the butt. About 4 years ago, I made it difficult for him to even buy the house. I put all kinds of conditions, all kinds of obstacles in front of him for it. And miraculously, everything got checked off. And I'm like, wow. So, because I said, if this, then that. And we're into that. So, twins, two things can be true at the same time. That was the main message. And while you're holding on to that idea, that thought of two things being true at the same time, this other thing came up for me, and I believe they are two sides of the same coin, which is why I'm complementing them with each other. The term, whoa, Nelly, has come up with two of my teachers. Two different teachers have been saying this term. Whoa, Nelly. And that whole, so I thought, I've been running that through my mind too. As I'm going through something that feels a little bit overwhelming, In my mind, I tell myself, whoa, Nelle, whoa, like, just hold on there, just settle down now, like, whoa. And I do that mentally for my mind to chill out. And the reason that I'm just offering you that same thing that I got from two of my teachers over the last week was because I really want to share this intention that I have that I think will be helpful for you, is to let your actions spring from peace. Let your actions spring from love. Every action, especially the smallest ones. Whether it's loading the dishwasher, picking up socks, putting the mail. You can do everything with love. And Mother Teresa, before she was Saint Teresa, there's a quote that's attributed to her. I'm not sure if it's actually accurate. I didn't do the research. Do small things with great love. Just, whoa, Nelle. The tiniest things with peace. Before you do anything. You know, there is righteous anger, like the anger that Jesus expressed in the temple. And there's a place for that. But in our day-to-day actions, in our day-to-day reactions, are you experiencing anger and frustration? Is it arising in your heart from your programming? Is it coming from your ego? Is it steering you, or are you steering it? These are the same questions I ask myself. Is it from a should? Is it from everybody wants you to? Is it from they expect you to? Is it from you wanting to have certainty in your future? Is it from you not being able to control something? It's just for you to notice. Where is that coming from? You're listening to Vivian Carrasco with Turning Inward. I'm a mindset mentor and creative midwife, and I'm here to help you wake up to a whole new way of being in the world. There's a term that I've heard that says that eating away at you, and it has scientific basis. When you're anxious or tense or worrying, you are literally dying. So the enemy isn't out there first and foremost. And let's go back to our definition of fear. Fear is an immediate and present danger. So my hunch is, if you're listening to me, if I'm in your ear, if we're taking a walk together right now, there's not an immediate and present danger in front of you. Because you wouldn't be listening to me. If a dog was attacking you right now, you and I wouldn't be together. This is making me a little anxious. So, whoa, Nelle. That's what I want to say. Whoa, Nelle. The enemy is not out there. It's your own anger, your own hostility, and your own prejudice that is putting you in a fight or flight. And that flight or flight puts you, and I wrote this down so I wouldn't get it wrong, in a catabolic state. A catabolic state is activating your sympathetic nervous system. This is fight or flight. You will run or die. So it's depleting your resources. It's killing you. What's the opposite of that? Building your resources. How do I do that? You build your resources by activating your parasympathetic nervous system, flipping the switch and being anabolic. How do I do that, Vivian? Through love, through positive emotions, through joy, through awe, compassion, faith. It's how you get healthier. Focusing on love. Love is also the shortest definition of spirituality. So that's the message that I have. Lean into the best within you and let your actions, your will, your jump, your spring, your leap, your action, your making, your creating, come from peace. Let it come from love. Let it feed you. Let it nurture you. Let it make you healthier so that it doesn't kill you. It's the best route. It's the safest route. I also wrote down a quote from St. Francis, and I don't know if I'm pronouncing this right, Sales or Sales. Never be in a hurry. Do everything quietly and in a calm spirit. Do not lose your inner peace, for anything whatsoever. Another quote from him. Nothing is so strong as gentleness. Nothing so gentle as real strength. And our words are a faithful index to the state of our souls. So let's win the war within. Let's advocate for inner peace. Because there's an art to this life. There's an art to living. And it is very practical, daily, human wisdom. It is expressing what our highest purpose is. It is being at our very best, moment to moment, day to day, in the smallest things. So I wanted to just sprinkle in a little bit of CBT, which is cognitive behavior therapy, because it aligns beautifully with love being human. And the theory behind cognitive-based or CBT is that your thoughts, so the cognitive piece, the brain, your reason, creates your feelings. So that's an emotional state. And that emotion then activates the behavior in that sequence. What you think creates how you feel. And then how you feel creates what you do. And what I said earlier is that love is the shortest definition of spirituality. So if love is the shortest definition of spirituality, then any action done in love is spiritual. So that behavior is loving. The feelings is the being state. So what is the being in your doing? And then our humanity is our thoughts. Our thoughts are like a bubble machine. You can't control them. They are going to happen. Like the clouds in the sky. You have this inner state of peace that is the blue that's in the background that's always there. But your feelings and your emotions are the clouds. They're the weather. They're the storms that come in and out. Inside, deep inside, is that inner peace that you can tap into at any moment, no matter what's going on. And act from there, spring from there. So, twins, two sides of the same coin. I wanted to leave you with this. We can do our very best while also accepting that the outcome is outside of our control. And what you can imagine, what you can see, is so very little compared to the possibility of what can be. And if this were a letter, I would sign it DV. I was reading something today and they used that term, Deo Valente, an old practice, an old ancient practice that I thought I'd sign off with today. DV, Deo Valente, God willing. If something needs to change and you don't quite know what it is yet, tune in and turn inward. I host an online learning community where we can figure it out together. It feels like a little family, and it's a place where you can be supported and offer support because togetherness sparks change. Visit my digital home at viviancarrasco.com to learn more.